changed anything.
Welcome into another edition of That SEC Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Bratton. I go by SEC Mike on the Twitter machine. And there he is, everybody's favorite cousin Shane. What's up, you old Tizzy Homer?
Hey, man, what's going on?
Oh, I'll tell you, brother, we got another mailbag edition of the show. Got some wild questions here. I'm just buckle up, buddy. I don't know if you're ready for this one.
Oh, Mike, I'm ready. I'm absolutely locked in, loaded, and all the cousins filtering in. I'm sure they're going to throw a few more good ones our way. So, yes, this is one of my favorite shows. A little bit more laid back. You know, you had Power Hour with Steve-O. I appreciate him coming on. And now it's like the dumber, watered-down version with Cousin Shane. So, it's very smart.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to sit here and think you're like a laid-back version. I'm like, when is it not laid back for you?
Yeah, any further, I'd be reclined, Mike.
Well, hey, and don't forget, we do a hell of a job, Shane, promoting stuff. Like we never mention it ever. But don't forget, Friday we're going to be at Calhoun's. Calhoun's on the river there, right by Tennessee's campus. So if you're an Alabama fan coming in, you're a Tennessee fan coming in, or you're a local that loves Tennessee, hates it, whatever. You just want to hang out, pound some beers here. We'll be on Calhoun's on the river, 11 to 1. Quite honestly, I'll probably be there before 11. I'll probably be there after 1. But I know that's when Tony Basilio shows on, and at least maybe Shane will be on there as well. And then if you can't make that, we're going to be on campus, Ayers Hall, Paul Feinbaum show, around 5:30. So if you ever wanted an opportunity to hang out with us, we're throwing it out there.
Yeah. I may be tough to find, you know. I mean, I blend in well with the crowd. So, but no, I just think it's fun. I like hanging out and, grab something to eat. Calhoun's fantastic restaurant, not a sponsor, should be, but they are awesome. So you'll enjoy the food that they're going to have. Tony's he's a piece too. If you've not listened to Tony, where have you been? If you're a Tennessee fan, especially, but some of the saddest calls have come through Tony. You know, he's one of those I love. Either after a win or after a loss, him taking those calls. Some of the best content out there. So part of the reasons we got a hotline. But Mike, come check us out. Drink some cold beers. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Right, and also, as always, don't forget MyBookie online sportsbook. That's the presenting sponsor. Promo code that. SEC, they'll double your initial deposit over at MyBookie. How about our man Benjamin? Shane, he just gifted 5 cousins on the last episode.
Come on now.
He says he's about to order his Mando bundle and his cornbread, hemp palm, now that it's payday. Come on. What a man, Cousin Benjamin.
Absolutely, man. That's what I do usually. You know, I pay the bills, I see what we got left, and then after that, we go have some fun. So you'll definitely have some fun with cornbread, I'm sure.
Yep. All right, Shane, are you ready? I don't know. Buckle up, buddy. Are you ready for this mailbag?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, this one's right up your alley. And as always, you're a member of the channel, and you ask a question on YouTube, we're going to get you first. So these first couple are official cousins here. Shout out cousin Robert Mathis. Where can I find the best ribs in Knoxville? I mean, if this isn't a cousin Shane question, I don't know what is.
Well, and that's crazy because, here's the thing, Mike. I'm one of these guys. I wouldn't what you call a barbecue connoisseur. You know, I've gone to several barbecue restaurants, did several in Texas. I love them all. The thing is, I just love food. But you can mess up barbecue. And one of the things that I love about Knoxville is they don't mess it up. You know, I mean, we are going to be at Calhoun, so naturally we're going to plug them. But you get the sweet peas, you get oh, shit, man. Bones, you get to all these. There is not a bad barbecue joint in East Tennessee because we cover it up with all the sweet and sugars you want. So if you like Texas, you may not like it. But yeah, any of those, you cannot go wrong. Do you got a favorite? Do you got a particular one you like to hit up?
There is, but I'm bad. I don't even know the name of it, Shane. Just because when I come to Knoxville, I know they have good barbecue. I know Dead End Barbecue is pretty good.
Dead End, yeah.
But when I'm in Knoxville, I don't generally am looking for, because I live in Nashville. We do barbecue so well. You know what?
Well, and honestly, man, when you talk about ribs, I've kind of moved on from ribs. Ribs was fun when I was younger. And maybe single, but now I'm like, I've kind of moved on to pulled pork, or something I cut with a knife, I love. You can't go wrong with a couple burnt ends. I love burnt ends, So brisket, you can't go wrong with.
Now you're talking my language here, Shane. Because I'm right there with you. I don't like. I get ribs at home.
Yeah,
I don't want to ask the waitress for 35 napkins. You know what?
If I were short of maybe like a one-off type deal, a whole rack of ribs, I would say the last 3 were done here at this house, because then you could just do it. You know what I'm saying? You don't care what people are saying. They don't look over and just take pictures and you're on TikTok. No, you are just enjoying the smoked ribs you prepared. So,
all right. How about this one, Shane, from another cousin here, Austin Dragon. What a name. What a name. Which coordinators could, he says will, I don't think all these guys will, but could land head coaching jobs after this season. And I got my list. You want me to go through it and see if you want to add any?
Let's just critique yours. Yeah.
Perfect. I figured that was up your alley. But I think top of the list, Shay's got to be Georgia defensive coordinator Glenn Schumann. He's turned down NFL opportunities. He's had other big-time defensive coordinator options in college football. He's probably had some head coaching opportunities at some smaller places. But if Georgia rebounds, and heck, they're top 5 in the country, it's not like they got a much rebound to do. But if Georgia wins big again, Glenn Schumann, he's been with Kirby the entire time. He's his right-hand man on that defense. I think it may not be this year, but it'll be not long before Glenn Schumann's a head coach.
Oh, that's a good one. That's definitely a good one. That's on the top, if not the top right now.
Now, I went kind of a different direction for this one.
Yeah.
Alabama defensive coordinator Kane Womack, get his ass out of here. Get him. He was a G5 head coach last year.
Yeah.
He might be better suited to be a G5 head coach. What do you think about that?
I dig it. Yeah, I definitely don't think he's going to be there in Tuscaloosa next year, unless things turn around, which they always can. So, is that the only 2 you got?
No. How about Ole Miss defensive coordinator Pete Golding? I think he's doing a hell of a job for Ole. Hell, I think the defense is better than the offense right now at Ole Miss. And
yeah.
Again, there's always rumors with Lane.
Yeah.
If Lane leaves, wherever that may be, which I don't think he will do, just to be clear. But every year we got to put up with this stuff. And he almost did leave for Auburn. So if he does leave, I'm sure he'd try to bring Pete Golding.
Yeah.
But I bet you the Ole Miss people, they may elevate Pete Golding to be head coach. So I think Pete Golding a little wild card there.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Not suited. I mean, they love them down there, so you may see a promote within if that ever happened.
And how about the Arkansas defensive coordinator Travis Williams? I don't know if he's ready quite yet to be a head coach, but he's doing a hell of a job with the Arkansas defense, and he will be a head coach before long. I just don't know if it'll be next season or anything, but I think he's bound to be a head coach.
I think you're right. What about Banks in Tennessee? That's one I just don't see. I don't see him there next year. I think he takes a job somewhere. Kid's doing
his
fantastic.
Contract's up too.
Yeah, so that would be one I would be looking at as well.
And I know you hate this guy, Shane, but how about Colin Klein, A&M offensive coordinator? He's doing a hell of a job, I think, and even though Shane doesn't think so. I think if Texas A&M keeps, again, I don't think he's leaving anytime soon, but he's a prime candidate for future head coach, maybe even at old Kansas State where he was a hell of a player up there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, if we're just throwing names out there, what about Loggins up there in South Carolina? How many assistant coaches have they promoted to head coach? Because that's true. They had a couple last year, so maybe it happens again. And
then the last one on my list, how about, it's not gone as well as I hoped this year, Shane, but he has already proven he's a hell of a OC, and I think they're close. Missouri offensive coordinator Kirby Moore. I could see him being a head coach before long.
Kirby Moore. Yeah. I feel like we're at the end of your list. I got
we are.
Okay,
we are.
Yeah, because you about named all the coordinators in the league. So if you were, but one you didn't mention, and it's always going to come up, Mike, is always going to come up, especially the success that he's brought to this university this year. I'm not saying it's the SEC. We're just saying head coaching here. What do you think about Bobby Petrino? Will he ever be head coach again?
No.
Yeah, I guarantee you will.
No.
Okay.
You love Bobby Petrino.
Well, how can you not? I mean, look what they've done with the offense, man.
He's 63. I mean, he's older than Sam Pittman.
That's the new 40, you know?
Hey, shout out Burnt Orange Chris. What a name. He just became a member of the channel.
Hey, welcome, son.
I bet Burnt Orange agrees with me, Shane.
Yeah, I'm sure he hates him.
But, any other coordinators come to your mind there, Shane?
Maybe Brad up there in Kentucky.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Hell, he may be Kentucky head coach here in a couple months. You know what?
Yeah, I'm just saying. Other than that, I mean, I'm trying to think of any young guys, maybe not next year, but in a few years type thing. So, I mean, I'm sure there are, but, some may just stay. Some are just great coordinators. And that's one of the things sometimes you look at some of these, some of these great head coaches that have held on to some of these OCs or DCs for so long. So I don't know. Some people just want to do that, but I don't know. We're going to find out.
Hey, how about Cousin Two Slick here, Shane? He just gave us $15. Appreciate you, Two Slick. Question for y'all. Most intriguing game this weekend and most intriguing game the rest of the year. Most intriguing, I mean, Texas, Georgia. I wouldn't quite call that intriguing just because it's like a Super Bowl type game. I mean, hell, everybody's going to be tuned in for it. That's the game I'm most fired up to watch. But most intriguing, probably for me, Shane, is Alabama, Tennessee.
Oh,
because
okay.
I think the winner can do some stuff.
Yeah.
I think the loser, oh baby, I think it could spiral out of control here.
Oh shit. Okay. All right.
So you see what I'm saying? Well,
Yeah,
that's why I'm saying intriguing. But I don't know. Maybe you have a different definition.
Well, intriguing's interesting, because one of the things that's intriguing to me, Mike, is when you mentioned the Georgia-Texas, is we talked about the separation, and it's not so much that it's a fun word. It's almost like we're going to find out really where we're at. We're going to discover one of two things: that either Texas is phenomenal, or they're just as good as Georgia. That's kind of what I feel like is going to happen in that ball game. So that would be an intriguing one for me. I look at the Auburn game, because I feel like this is kind of a fork in the road type deal. Mizzou. Obviously getting embarrassed by A&M and then, following up with a really good game, but it was against a terrible football team. And Auburn, it feels like they're just right there because they've got – can you pull up Auburn's schedule? The main thing that's intriguing for me is their next three games because –
all lesser talent.
But I could see a scenario where Auburn wins to Texas A&M, wins the next four games. But I also see a scenario where they lose the next three. So I feel like this one is a big one for Hugh Freeze in particular, just because all the momentum that you've got on this recruiting trail, everything that you're selling to the boosters and the fans, all that kind of goes out the window if you drop three of these games or two of these games. Auburn fans are expecting to win until at least November 23rd when they play Texas A&M. So intriguing. That's probably one I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's wild that you just said that, Shane. Auburn can win the next four, and I would agree with you. They can. Let's say they do it, but then let's say they get hammered by A&M.
Yeah. And
they lose to Alabama. Finish 6-6.
Yeah.
We just gave them 4 wins. Hell, they only got 2. I think it's still, their fans would be like, well, hell, this year sucked. and it's like we just gave you 4.
Yeah,
3 of them you might lose.
Yeah, we're not even to the quote unquote tough games right now. So yeah, and Mizzou on the other hand is another one that they've planted the flag, telling them that they're a college football playoff team, but you lose to Auburn, you're not a playoff team. You know what I'm saying? You're going to make it a good bowl game, but you're not going to beat Alabama. You may not beat Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Arkansas. There's all these games that I've just penciled in as victories in the offseason. I feel like, again, can just kind of overcorrect and say, you know what, maybe Mizzou was a one-hit wonder. So I just feel like this game is so important for both of those fan bases and, more importantly, those coaches, because whoever wins it, it's got nothing but rainbows and sunshine ahead of them. You know what I'm saying? But whoever loses is going to get drugged through the streets.
And then last part of his question, let's try to get this one a little bit quicker, Shane. Yep. Most intriguing game the rest of the season, and for me, there's only one. Yep. Texas at Texas A&M, final week of the season, Kyle Field, after 12, 13 years not playing that game. That's at number 1 on my list.
Tough to argue with that one, Mike. I'm trying to think of some other ones. I mean, there's some good football games, but this is one that's not been played in a long, long time. And by the time we get there, buddy, they may create another fair down there in Texas.
Imagine, just for again, we're not saying this is going to happen, but imagine Georgia loses to Texas, which hell, they're underdog. I mean, that's not like a bold statement.
Yeah.
Another candidate would be Georgia at Ole Miss here in a couple weeks, because that will be a playoff game. The winner, I think, makes it. The loser, done.
Yeah. No, also a good one. I mean, you can say the same thing about Tennessee. Tennessee beats Alabama, then all of a sudden the Tennessee-Georgia game gets really intriguing because the loser's out. You know? So, I feel like November is going to be
November to remember.
Yeah, it will be, man. Some people their dreams are going to be shattered in November.
Hey, shout out Cousin Jax here.
Hey, thanks, cuz.
Thanks, cuz.
Just gave us $20. Hey, just want to say, love the genuine content you all provide in the SEC. Also, as a Kentucky fan, I have to say Mark Stoops has to go. The players don't seem happy, and the discipline is not there. Shit show every week. I can't disagree with that. I mean, Stephen was just on, and we all know how smart that guy is, right?
Yes.
But he just hit the nail on the head. He said, well, look at it this way, Mike. There's 2 games you thought they would win convincingly. They got beat. South Carolina, Vanderbilt. There's 2 games you thought they would get crushed. They nearly knocked off Georgia, and they somehow beat Ole Miss. I mean, again, that doesn't mean Mark Stoops got to go, but that's a sign of coaching that we're having these wild waves every other week, it seems like.
Well, Brett McMurphy sent out a tweet earlier about the coach's pay. Mm-hmm. And, Coach Stoops is sitting there, the 5th highest paid coach in this conference. And I always feel like you need to be paid what you're worth. And have there been years he's worth 5th? Absolutely. But not in a while. You know what I'm saying? And you're looking at some of the coaches above him and below him. He's the one that's not ranked, other than Venables, which is at the very bottom of this list. He's sitting there at 3-3, and I don't see anything ahead of him that's like, this is a rebuild year, or this is a program by the end of the season could be something because they've already played their toughest games. This is a Kentucky team that is in a bad spot right now, and it's led by a coach that has made infamous comments about the NIL and what the fans need to do to make this a better program. But at some point we got to answer the question. We're getting paid X amount of dollars. We are demanding a top 5 finish at least in the league.
Yeah, and you said he's top. Would you say 5?
Yeah, he is right now. Out of all the coaches in the country, he's 9.
Right. That was the point I was going to make.
Yeah.
He's top 10 in the country. He's not a top 10 coach in the country. I don't even think he's top 10 in the conference.
That's a lot of money for a C coach,
Hey, I tried to warn him.
I know.
I tried to warn him. All right, how about this one, Shane? What a name. What a name. Be Creepy. Member of the channel.
Flying Hawaiian?
When South Carolina goes and beats Oklahoma at home, do you think South Carolina will have a run to an 8 to 9 win season? There's a little bit more. Let me throw up her schedule here. Could they get to 8-9 win season if and when? He's not even saying if. He says when they win. And will somebody be on the hot seat? Also, why does Carolina keep playing teams after they suffer a devastating loss? What do you think, Shane? If he's not saying if, but we are. If South Carolina wins, can they win 8 to 9 games? You think?
If they win,
so they'll be at 4, and then here's the remaining: Texas A&M at home, at Vanderbilt, Missouri at home, Wofford at home, and at Clemson. So they would need 4 more.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be easy, Mike, but I think this South Carolina football team can beat everyone that is left on this schedule.
Yeah.
There's no game that I can just say, well, that is a guaranteed loss right now. Now, there's some games that are going to be tough, mainly this week against Oklahoma. But I think A&M can be beat. They've beat them before. Vanderbilt, obviously they're having a historical run, but still they can be beat. Mizzou has not shown us anything that has convinced us that they're just going to steamroll everybody on their schedule. Wofford has the ugliest dog mascot in the world. They're going to get beat. And then, of course, Dabo. Wouldn't it be nice to just kick Dabo's ass one more time? So, yeah, there is a scenario. I know it sounds nuts, Mike, but there is a scenario where South Carolina wins out. Unlike some of the Kentucky team I just told you about, they've already played the toughest ones. Now is the time to start improving, which they already are. You just can't see it because of the opponents they're facing.
Right. If they could just get some consistency on offense, they can, like you said, they can not only play but beat all these teams.
For sure, man. Absolutely.
Hey, early leader, comment of the night. This was back when we were talking about assistants, coordinators being head coaches. Liquid says, well, Austin Armstrong is going to be manager of a parking garage. Does that count? What a comment there.
Oh, shit.
All right, how about shout out Michael Riley. I see him in the comments there. He's a member. Big Florida fan. Not a Billy Napier question, though, Shane, thankfully. Favorite country artist and song of all time? And this is more of a Shane question. I date a musician. I don't know much about music, but I do like this is a stupid answer, I'm sure, but this is genuine here. George Strait, all my exes live in Texas. Come on, that would be my answer.
Well, I love old country, man. I'm a 90s country guy, 80s country guy. So, I grew up listening to if I had to pick my favorite all time, I'm 42 years old. So majority, like if you were just pick my phone or every song I've ever listened to, which one have I probably listened to the most? It would be Randy Travis. I was a die, and it's mainly because my parents were, but I naturally became one too. So probably Forever Amen. If I were to guess one, that would be my damn song. So Randy Travis.
Okay. Hey, Shane, you'll like this comment. Shout out cousin Tev here. Mike, if you think anyone would hire Bobby, I think it means you've taken too many gummies. And shout out Cornbread Hemp. What a segue there, Shane. Thank you, cousin Tim. Check out cornbreadhemp.com/SEC. Get 30% off your first order. Cannot recommend these enough. I've been taking the CBD sleep gummies. Shane, they have changed my sleep habit. I'm a light sleeper.
Yeah.
Heck, I hear a cricket outside. I'm getting out of bed. You know what I mean? Like I'm that guy, and I can't go back to sleep. I've been taking these for about 3 weeks now. I've already ordered. I've used this, cornbreadhemp.com/SEC, to get 30% off an additional batch. They'll send you 30. They're just gummies. There's no sugar. This is non-synthetic ingredients, Farm Bill compliant, and legal for adults over 21. I can't recommend it enough. Small business out of Kentucky, and it's really changed my sleep habits, and I couldn't be more thankful. So I could not recommend this again enough. cornbreadhemp.com/SEC, and use that code SEC for 30% off your order. And hit me up with DM. You got any questions? I don't work for them, but I do recommend it.
Awesome, man. Yeah, kill it.
And Bobby Petrino still ain't getting that job.
I got to be careful what gummies I eat at Mike's house, you know? I may wake up and it's Tuesday, you know?
All right, how about this one, Shane, from Rancho Texano? What a name. He's a member. I don't know if you'll like this one, though, Shane. Sorry about it. What is going on with Nico? Is it my imagination? Or can he not complete a pass more than 7 yards down the field? Always root for the Vols, except when they're playing the Aggies, but they need to be able to pass to win a game. What do you think here, Shane? I told Shane this, so I'll tell all y'all, but I hear the coaching staff losing confidence in old Nico to execute the offense, and I don't know how you watch the Florida game. I mean, he's not a total liability out there. He's a young player. We're probably judging him too harshly because he's a 5-star, because he got all this millions of dollars. But he is not looking like a player that has earned those accolades up to this point.
Yeah. And it kind of sucks for the kid because, I always think of the NFL when you go out and you get that first-round draft pick and you bring him home and you're like, hey, we're going to sit him for a while. Then 4 games in, you haven't got a win, so you're like, everybody's on to you. Throw the new kid in, and then sometimes they take, sometimes they don't. And that's what I always think about, like the greats, like Aaron Rodgers. He's come out and said it. Tom Brady. They've sat for a while before they were just kind of thrown into the action. But Nico didn't have that luxury when he took that money. When he came to Knoxville, he's forced to play. So you got to remember, he's young. Now, is he having the season that we want? Absolutely not. Does he have the attributes to be a great quarterback for this university? Absolutely. Does it happen this season? That we don't know, Mike. That is just a game time decision, if you will. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, but I feel like the main thing for Nico is getting comfortable with the play. I mean, you got to remember, the coach is in his head. It's not like he's out there in the middle of the field by himself. He's got mediation, if you will, on letting him know what he needs to do, what he needs to look for. But he hasn't been able to capitalize it. And you're right. I feel like here the last few games, it's been reeling a little bit. That's why we're not seeing some of those downfield throws and some of those progression throws. But I also think that there's something about Nico that is also lacking. It's not so much the throwing, it's when to run. I feel like when he unlocks that, that's what's going to make him truly a great quarterback, because now he's a true dual threat. And for this to work in Josh Heupel's system, I feel like that's what you got to have, man.
Mm-hmm. Man, mediation. Who is this co-host we got here using these big words?
Cornbread, just a couple gummies before I jumped on.
All right, how about Jason?
I saw the country. I have a lot. I was just thinking, I've sent Mike my country list probably like 5 times. I guarantee he's not linked up the Spotify account yet. But the hits, maybe I should share that so everybody can just see what's on my daily playlist.
I literally have no idea what you're talking about. So, yeah.
See, he even ignores me.
I have not checked it for sure. How about this one, Shane? From Jason Wildcat. He's also an official cousin. We appreciate you, brother. If Kentucky loses Saturday in the swamp, who's on the hotter seat, Billy Napier or Mark Stoops? Wasn't it just a week ago the fans were talking about building old Stoops a statue in front of Kroger Field? And again, this is a Wildcat fan. And then sprinkle in here Kentucky Kenny, similar question. Which coach needs to win more? So basically the same question, Napier or Stoops.
Yeah.
Shane, and he also, Kentucky Kenny also says, Shane, sprinkle in some of these stories about the glory days. If you don't pass on the 01 Jeff County stories, who will? They will be lost to history.
That is true, man. The greatest team to never exist,
But who needs it more? And could Napier's already on the hot seat, but could Stoops get on the hot seat if he loses this game?
Well, the hottest seat is going to be Billy. This is like the last-ditch effort. We got the bye week following us. I'm not saying that we have a transition, but we could. So I would say, yes, hot seat, give me Billy. But Coach Stoops is right there. And the thing about it is, it wasn't too long ago we were celebrating a top 5 win on the road, and And I feel like that earns you a little bit of leeway, a little bit of rope, if you will, but it kind of goes right out the window if you keep losing. So more about, I think, the method that they lose. So whichever team loses, if it's by multiple scores, then that's when I'm going to change maybe that hot list talk.
Mm-hmm. And my thing here, I'm trying to throw up the Winsipedia.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the number one thing that Mark Stoops has to hang his hat on right now. And if he doesn't have that, again, doesn't mean he's awful or anything like that, but he has beaten them 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And 4 of the last 6. I mean, he's literally the only Kentucky coach probably alive that could say something like that. You know what I mean? So you can't, it's hard to run a guy off like that, but it certainly seems like something's not working there. And sometimes change is good, but they're in a dangerous spot here, Shane, because they could easily regress. This conference not getting any easier. In fact, it's getting tougher. So I don't know. I don't even know if the right move is to fire the guy, but I'm just sharing you what the data says. Data says he's a C coach and he's the winningest coach in school history. So maybe he's as good as they'll get. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I mean, if anybody's got a track record to kind of, you know, you get some of these new guys in year 2, year 3, you're starting to expect something. But I mean, at this point, he is what he is, right? I mean, has he peaked? You know, I mean, I peaked in high school, so, you know, maybe he peaked 4 years ago when he had 10-win seasons, but I don't even know if it had to be close to that. But you know what I'm saying? This feels like how
about we look at it like this? Because this is obviously a new era, right?
Yeah.
Every 5 years, this guy's going to give you 1 10-win season.
Is that what you want?
But that's going to get you into the playoff now, right? So we're basically saying once every 4 or 5 years, you're going to make the playoff. And yeah, I think a lot of people would mock that. But hell, is South Carolina going to go to the playoff once every 4? I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if Tennessee will. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you're turning down. You're hoping to hit a golden lottery ticket.
Yeah.
But you may get Chad Morris. You know what I mean? Like, you could go 50 years without a playoff spot. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's a tough one. But I do think he makes way too much damn money. I will say that.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I just confused everybody. But all right, how about this one, Shane, from cousin Matt Beard? He's in the comments here. We appreciate you, Matt. Great question. Which team, not the most intriguing game, but which team has the most to gain this weekend? And which team has the most to lose? I like that one.
Most to gain and most to lose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've kind of already hit on all of them, but I would say most to lose. Oh man, who would you go? I just heard this question, so let me just think about it for a second.
Oh, Shade. Most to gain. I'm gonna throw it up there. Schedule. Give me them Razorbacks. Come on. You win back-to-back 10-win, top 10 opponents.
Yeah.
Hell, I think people are going to start to realize what an elite offense coordinator Bob Petrino is. Come on now. But no, seriously, they'll be ranked.
Yeah.
And they need to be in the playoff discussion. If you're beating back-to-back top 10 teams, how in the hell can they? Again, I'm not saying you're a lock or anything like that, but you need to be in the conversation. Yeah. And this is one of the biggest surprise teams in the country. So give me Arkansas the most to gain, most to lose.
Can I try this one?
Yes, sir.
Can you pull up Oklahoma? Because I think we talked earlier in the week about them not making a bowl game. And for them not to make a bowl game, I feel like they have to lose this week. Because I can see Ole Miss beating them, Mizzou, Bama, LSU right now. Maine's their only other win. So that's going to put you at 5. You got to get at 6. So this may be a must-win for Oklahoma. And if they don't, they may not be going bowling.
No, this is exactly where I was going with most to lose.
Yeah.
Shane, after that performance against Texas, we got to get off the mat.
Yeah.
We got to assert some dominance here. Our defense should be at a big advantage with South Carolina's offense. The problem is, of course, your offense Oklahoma's offense is going to be at a disadvantage against South Carolina's defense, seemingly. So cannot let this one slip away. This is the team with the most to lose, I feel like, at home this weekend in the SEC.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, shout out Cousin JR. Man, what a guy. What a guy, Shane. He gifted a membership on the last one. He's doing it again, as he always does. Cousin William, welcome to the family, brother. Son. And Cousin JR is going to replace you one day, Shane, just so I'm just lining it up.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely.
All right, how about this one, Shane? Deer 8616. Long question here, but pretty much the entire SEC is closer in talent than it's ever been.
Yeah.
The top teams have all had close games or upsets, and the bottom teams have surprised us with some pretty good games. Do you think that these teams put together some good games later in the season, or have their hopes gone? And he's talking about Auburn, Mississippi State, and Florida. Could they surprise? And again, he's not saying winning the SEC or anything here, but kind of continue this trend of upsetting people. And I think we already hit on it with Auburn.
Yeah.
I certainly think they can upset some people.
Mm-hmm.
That would not hell, just stop turning the ball over.
Yeah.
Give it to Hunter.
Yeah.
You could beat a lot of these teams. So I would certainly put them into the category. Mississippi State, honestly, I probably wouldn't say that, but I wouldn't say they could play within 10 of Georgia and Athens.
Yeah.
And within 1 point of Texas in the first half in Austin. So, yeah, I think Mississippi State keeps improving. Michael Van Buren, he looks fantastic. I think they got them a real find in the true freshman quarterback. And then Florida, let's say DJ Lagway, now that he's the sole guy, continues to progress. And you know, I think that's the path for them because they're fighting their asses off, Shane. They outplayed Tennessee, I thought, for most of that game. So I think there's reason to believe all three of these can be a team that pulls an upset or two down the line.
And honestly, I feel like DJ plays better moving forward. Yeah, I mean, I hate that Mertz is out for the season. I think he was actually having a fantastic season so far. But now DJ's not looking over his shoulder. You know, there's nobody else taking his job. He's got the sole reins here. And now I feel like some of that game plan can just be around him. You know what I'm saying? And because when you're doing this quarterback back and forth, we've seen it work a few times in Florida, but I just didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. I didn't think there was going to be 12 games played and we say, you know what, Florida figured it out. They cracked the code. They're 10-2. They're in the playoffs, you know.
Right.
I felt like this is a football team that eventually one of these quarterbacks was going to take over. Well, now that DJ has that, now's his time to shine.
How about this one, Shay, from Cousin Gas? He was at the family reunion. I think we're going to do at least we should plan one to do next week. So the first of every month here. But can I overcome my battered Vol syndrome? That's his only question. What do you think, Shay? Does that ever leave you, or is it going to stick with us forever here?
It was close. I ain't going to lie. Even after the Oklahoma game, I mean, a little bit of the Oklahoma game, it's kind of reared its ugly head. But since then, it slapped us right in the face when we were in Arkansas that we have always got to be prepared to have our hearts broken. So, no, in the meantime, I do not see it going anywhere. So,
and shout out to Cousin Ollie in the comments here. What do I personally need to do to get Jon Sumerall to be the head coach at Kentucky? He's doing a hell of a job. At Troy, he was killing it. Now he's at Tulane. He's doing a heck of a job once again. I think I know we were touting Brad White earlier, but I think everybody knows Jon Sumerall, unless someone steals him. This could be a situation where, how about this? Kirby, I don't know if you know this, Shane, but Kirby was headed to he was going to be South Carolina head coach.
Right.
And Georgia had Mark Richt. Everybody loves Mark Richt. Probably the greatest guy, to coach in the SEC. But one at a high level, just didn't win the big one, right? Mm-hmm. 95% of programs, stadium be named after him, and he'd have a statue outside. You know what I mean? But at Georgia, they were looking for more. They were worried. So maybe if let's say Florida. Let's say Florida tried to hire Jon Sumerall. Sumerall went to Kentucky, I believe. If that happened, I'd put my arm around Stoops and say, "Hey, buddy, we got to get this guy in here before he goes to Florida." You know, I mean, I think that could be a realistic path to getting Jon Sumerall before. I basically what the point I'm trying to make is you got to get him before someone else gets him, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, man. And sometimes you wait too long, you lose it. So, and if it gets too big down there, if the name gets too big, then Kentucky won't have that draw, even though, you know, he's been there before. So, yeah, I feel like that makes sense. But how many times, man? I mean, shit, Mike, we've been SEC fans for how long? And we said, this makes perfect sense. Well, how can this not work? And for some reason, because you know how what it comes down to is the money man there in, I think he's in Memphis now, right? What's his name?
Jimmy Sexton.
Jimmy Sexton. He may not like it. He may not like it because they're broke from paying Coach Stoops all them years, you know? So we'll see how it plays out. But yes, talking about dream scenario for Kentucky, I think would be getting him because he's going to be a fantastic football coach.
Yep. All right. How about this one, Chad? I love this question from Patrick Garcia. Interesting to think about. Throw up LSU schedule here. Is LSU better on defense without Harold Perkins? How about that, Shane? Because again, this is no slight on Harold Perkins.
Nope.
Freak athlete. He was dynamic as a freshman, but I don't think they know what to do with him. And I think they were struggling to figure out where can we put him? What can we do with him? And again, it's just one game, but their defense played their damn ass off against Ole Miss. And I'm not diminishing Perkins, but kind of like you were saying with old Luther, you know, it's obviously much different team, different side of the ball, but without Luther on the field, it kind of opens things up. Could that be the case for LSU's defense here?
You know, it's interesting you bring that up because if you've ever watched an LSU football game, you were reminded about Perkins every single football game for the last 2 years. You know, it's just been, where's he at? What are they going to do with it? You know, keep your eye on him. But I think he went down. Was it the UCLA game, if I'm not mistaken? Was it?
I think so.
So, and it was almost, I don't know, man. I don't want to say it was just him, but that's kind of when this defense came alive, you know, if you think about it. And then the 2 games after that, they've been just completely chaos is what I would say. I remember him talking about, you know, scheming up some, what did he say? Exotic blitzes, exotic packages. And I feel like that's kind of what they've done here the last 2 weeks. And I've seen a lot of aggression on that defensive front, especially. So, yeah, I'm not saying it's Perkins related, but it is about the same time.
Right. Hey, how about this one? Shout out Mizzou Mafia. What a name. What a name, Shane.
Who's he a fan of?
You may recall. Now, he was completely trolling, but he looks like a Nostradamus over here. We're 6 weeks in now.
Yeah.
Let's revisit my question from week 1. I remember he really did ask this. What's more likely? Vanderbilt make a bowl game or Oklahoma miss a bowl game?
Gee.
Remember he said that? So, again, throw up Vanderbilt. All they got to do is win 2 more. They're 25-point favorites over Ball State, so they'll just have to win 1 more. Or what's more likely? Vanderbilt makes a bowl game or Oklahoma misses a bowl game. I remember, now that I recall this like confounded your brain a little bit here, but you're a little bit sharper this time around. What do you think is more likely to happen?
Go back to Mizzou one more time. Or I'm sorry, Vanderbilt. Let's see. So we got Ball. So that's your 5. So you're saying Auburn, South Carolina. Well, Texas, for the listeners. Texas, Auburn,
they own Texas.
South Carolina. Yeah. LSU and Tennessee. Oh, brother. Depending on health.
Yeah.
I would say Vanderbilt making. More likely. Yeah.
Right.
Right now. Because I'll tell you what, South Carolina, they're a damn hornet's nest. And I feel like they're pissed off about that. There's no give up on this football team. They're going to come out here like their hair's on fire. I feel like South Carolina's about to turn a page, and Oklahoma's going to have their handfuls. So, give me I hate to say it, going to come down to this week, but that's exactly what's going to happen. And I have more confidence in Vanderbilt either beating some of the other teams on their schedule than Oklahoma beating South Carolina this week.
Mm-hmm. Mizzou Bill. A lot of Mizzou fans asking about Vanderbilt. I think because they know it's helping their strength of schedule here. If Vandy beats Texas, how far can they go? Can they win the SEC? Can they win? Can they make the playoff? Can they win the national championship? Shane, if Vanderbilt beats Texas,
yeah,
they can do all that. Come on.
Yeah, if they do. I mean,
it's a big if.
It's crazy. We've been that it's not really a joke. Like, it's not, we make Vanderbilt jokes all off season for the last 20 years. We've been doing this, but
yeah,
truly, I'm not saying playoff team, but this is a good bowl game team. You know what I'm saying? And yes, if they beat Texas, then how can you not rule out the playoffs? As crazy as that sounds, Mike.
2 number 1 wins,
Yeah, you beat Bama, you almost beat Mizzou, and then you beat Texas. Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Tennessee, Vanderbilt for the playoff.
Could you imagine? Game day at a Tennessee Vanderbilt game. Oh shit.
All right, how about
the end of days are upon us, Mike. I knew it.
And then another one from a Mizzou fan, Mizzou Man here.
Yeah.
What a name. What a name. Who's got a better shot of sneaking into the playoff right now? Mizzou or Ole Miss?
Mizzou. Yeah.
You think so, huh?
Ole Miss already has 2 losses, so I mean, just math. And I feel like Ole Miss has a tougher schedule the rest of the season than Mizzou. Mizzou's got, don't get me wrong. They got Alabama. They've got Oklahoma. They got some tough football games. But Ole Miss has Oklahoma, Arkansas, which we're trying to make an argument why they're a top 20 football team.
Yeah.
Georgia, arguably one of the best, if not the best in the country. And then, say what you want. Florida on the road, there's some intriguing parts to that. Mm-hmm. You talk about the storylines coming to that football game. So if Lane Kiffin's buying a house while he's there, So I would say, I know it sounds crazy, but right now, give me Mizzou.
What if they both go 10-2 though? Which means likely Mizzou would lose to Bama, but win all the rest, and then Ole Miss runs the table. Who would you give it to?
Yeah, Ole Miss. I give it to Ole Miss. Yeah. Just because, again, 3-point losses, and it's not like they got destroyed. I think Kentucky was the ultimate head scratcher, but last week on the road, give me Ole Miss here.
They're going to be kicking themselves over that damn Kentucky game for decades. You know what?
I have too before, since Tennessee homer.
How about this one from an optimistic Auburn fan, Shane? After seeing the shortcomings of Ryan Day at Ohio State, Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss, Lincoln Riley, Southern Cal, and Mike Norvell at Florida State, is building a roster mainly through the portal the best way to build a roster?
I don't know if that's a good comparison right now,
Right. Here's the main problem with questions like this. It's fine that people are asking it, but Ohio State, you tell me who's the outlier here, Shane? Ohio State, Southern Cal, Florida State, and Ole Miss. Who's the outlier there?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss can't just cherry pick high school kids.
Right.
They will never in a million years ever be able to just, stay at home and pick guys. And they ain't going into Alabama and getting anybody that Alabama and Auburn want. They're not going into Louisiana and getting anybody that LSU wants. They could probably come into Tennessee and get players that Tennessee and Vanderbilt want. You know what I mean? On and on and on. I'm not saying there's a lot of great players in Mississippi, but you can't build again, this is big boy football. We're trying to win the championship here.
Yeah.
You cannot do it via high school recruiting at Ole Miss. So I think it's blown up in his face is too strong, but it's not working right now this season at Ole Miss. But heck, they have literally never had a 10-win regular season at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
They've had 2 in the last 3 under Lane Kiffin.
Right.
So all these people laughing at him saying that whatever he's doing is not working. I don't get it. So can Ohio State high school recruit to a champ? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can Southern Cal? I don't think so, because even the great California players are coming to the SEC now. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it just really depends on the program and everything like that. I think we can't just put a blanket like this is how you got to build a roster.
Yeah.
Because, again, if you could do it the way Georgia could do it, if you could do it the way LSU and Alabama could do it, that would be the way. Texas is very wisely, of course, getting guys at Texas, getting guys across the country, and cherry-picking the transfer portal. But not everybody has that option.
Yeah, yeah. But several top 25 teams can do it. You know, maybe they're not leading the country in portal kids, but they're pretty damn close. You know, and I feel like the perfect recipe is kind of having both. Now, I will say this: Ole Miss still does get talent. You know, the state of Mississippi alone. I mean, you could have a damn good football team if you just protect the borders there. I feel like they're starting to recruit a little better in that area, but I don't think you can say Ole Miss, Ohio State, Florida State in the same breath. Because before Lane Kiffin, you would have laughed if we said that, after he's created kind of that expectation now, and he's made, Ole Miss where they're at. So I think Lane may stay. He may not. Hell, if he does leave, I think the Ole Miss effect, the Lane Kiffin effect, I still think that stays in effect for a while, and then whoever follows him will have a window to keep that rolling, or they'll lose it altogether.
Mm-hmm. Well, Shane.
Yeah.
If I'm an Ole Miss fan, though, after these tough losses, probably need to seek some help.
Yeah. Where are you going to get that, Mike?
BetterHelp. Come on. You already know. Shane, head on over to BetterHelp. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Head on over to BetterHelp.com/SEC. Shane, they'll give you 10% off your first month. And you're saying, what is BetterHelp? How can I help myself? Well, all you got to do is fill out this brief questionnaire, and they'll match you with a licensed therapist. It's all online. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to leave your house, just like this show. And if you don't like your therapist, you can say, to hell with that person. Give me this other person over here. No extra charge over at BetterHelp. Again, that's BetterHelp.com/SEC. Gives you 10% off online therapy. Come on, we're just trying to help you suffering fans. I mean, Texas fans don't need this right now. They're all cloud nine. But basically everybody else, we're just getting steamrolled over here.
This is for the other 15 teams, Hey,
how about this one, Shane? What a name here. Elko Hours.
All right.
Which team not currently projected as a playoff team are you most certain is going to make the playoff? And here, courtesy our buddy Stephen Lassen, here's his updated college football playoff projections here. So the teams he's got in out of the SEC, Texas number 1, that would mean SEC champion Texas. He's got Georgia number 6, hosting Notre Dame in the first round. He's got Alabama number 8, hosting Clemson in the first round, and LSU number 10. Traveling to Penn State. So we can't pick those teams.
Right.
The question is, who's on the outside looking in that we're most confident will end up in the playoff? And it doesn't have to be any of these bubble teams, but it probably will be.
Yeah, and shit, I hate to say it, and they probably hate me to say it too, but since Elko brought it up, give me the Texas A&M Aggies, Mike. I mean, the thing that sells me is just their schedule. They're sitting there 5-1. I feel like at the end of the year, there's a shot that they're still maybe 11-1 going to the Texas game. And win, lose, or draw, they're going on to the playoff. Now, obviously, they're going to have to get through LSU, and I just told you how good South Carolina and Auburn can be. But, yeah, this one right here, because of the way the schedule's laid out, I kind of like the A&M Aggies here.
Yeah, you just completely – you hate Tennessee now. Mizzou, Ole Miss.
I mean, we all know about Tennessee. It's not that I don't trust them. Here's the thing about Tennessee. I feel like they're close. And a lot of people say they're not. Nico, they don't trust him and blah, blah, blah. I mean, throw that shit out, man. I mean, obviously, you would love to have blowouts. You'd love to be undefeated right now. But still, you're sitting there at 5-1.
Yeah.
You know, you got Alabama at home, and you got 3 home. I mean, we're counting Florida. You'll have 4 home games in a row. That you couldn't plan that any better, Mike. And then you got Georgia. And Georgia, if you get to that one, with 1 loss, you could still lose it and make it. You know what? I'm changing it. Give me them Tennessee Volunteers. Damn, look at that schedule. Any schedule's got UTEP on it deserves a playoff.
How about this one though, Shane?
Yeah.
What if Arkansas knocks off LSU? Again, we would then remove LSU from the playoff projections. Now, they could still get there, perhaps.
Yeah.
But, again, so Arkansas would be 5-2.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they could be working their way. I mean, they probably have to win out, but they could beat Ole Miss. The only one that I question is Texas, but hell, Texas may get exposed. How about that? We've been kissing Texas' ass for a couple days here. What if Texas gets exposed? Let's say LSU loses to Arkansas. Texas gets exposed by 3 points.
Yeah.
Could Arkansas make the playoff?
It's going to be tough, Mike. It's going to be tough. If they
After
were
back-to-back top 10 wins. Come on. You hate Sam Pittman or what?
No, I love Sam
I'm going to tell
Pittman.
them at media days, you said they got no shot.
You told me he wasn't going to be there next year. I feel like with Arkansas, is it possible? Anything's possible, Mike. Hell, I may just decide to never drink a cold beer again. That's possible. It's possible I may get up and walk 13 miles. It's possible. Is it probable? No. And I feel like that's kind of where we're at. It's a fun story, but I feel like Arkansas is going to have a hell of a season. Unfortunately, it will not be a playoff season.
Sandman said, "Oh, buddy, you just locked A&M."
Yeah, Elko didn't want that. He wish he could delete the question now.
How about this one from KYO?
Hey, there he is.
Oklahoma fan, Shane. We're sitting here. We're 4-2.
Yeah.
Why does it feel like we're 1-5? That's the question. I mean, it's. I think just because you got destroyed by your rival here.
Yeah.
But heck, you win this weekend, and you're favored. This is a home game. South Carolina. South Carolina doesn't travel that well. I mean, we sit here in 5-2. We're the outlook's completely different. Would you agree with that, or is it doom and gloom here?
Mike, no, you can't roll anything out. I mean, shit, have you guys not been watching this football season? You cannot roll anything out.
Yeah.
And I just gave you a scenario how they won't make a bowl game, but there's also a scenario which they catch fire. And you look at Oklahoma, they didn't have any receivers last week, Mike.
Right.
What if Mizzou doesn't have receivers on November 9th? What if Oklahoma? So there's still going to be injuries. There's still going to be teams that we're trying to identify, trying to figure out how good they are. But there's also going to be teams that are just going to fold up, man. There's going to be teams that just give up toward the tail end of the season. And so you're looking at the schedule, and we're trying to guess what the outcomes are going to be. But if this is a football team that has the world against them, like you said, they got 4 wins, they could also catch fire. They could all of a sudden figure out offense, and then when you pair it with one of the best defense in the country, that is a recipe for wins, man.
Mm-hmm. Cousin Dakota, he says, Shane, you going to walk a half marathon if Mizzou wins out?
I thought about that today. Somebody asked me about it, and I said, I don't even know what I was thinking, because I don't think you guys realize 13.1 miles. That's a long walk, man. That is a long freaking walk. And I still think about it. I still have injuries from the last one. My ankle still gives me a fit ever since that day. So I don't know if a half marathon is in my future, Mike. Not at this current weight.
Cousin Jared says, set him straight, Cousin Shane. He's a big LSU guy. LSU.
Oh, I know Jared.
Yeah. All right. How about Mullet Man? What a name, Shane. Oklahoma is currently not scored an offensive touchdown in 422 hours or 17.2 days. They cannot score on another before 498 in 20.5 days. How long will the drought continue? I mean, South Carolina's got a hell of a defense, but surely they score an offensive touchdown this week, right?
Maybe. I mean, I think they play just as good of defense this week. So it really just depends, man. I think The question will be like momentum. I feel like Oklahoma is going to need to set them up. I think there may be a couple turnovers or something like that. Get them in the red zone or close to it. But I just these records, these stats, because they're going to be showing it. I remember when they were talking about Tennessee not giving up a rushing touchdown or something like that, and then all of a sudden it happened. These numbers are fun for a while, but that can't always happen. I feel like this is the week that Oklahoma discovers a little bit of offense and gets at least a touchdown here.
Yeah. Cousin Matt, Shane, he says Shane won't kill himself for anyone but Tennessee here.
Oh, shit.
Cousin Tev says, is there a 13.1 mile section of Tennessee road that's all downhill?
Well, it's funny. I got a buddy I used to work with, and we were talking about this because I made this bet a long time ago. And he said there was one out in Vegas that's all downhill, and it's a qualifier for the Boston Marathon, which I am not going out there for, but it did intrigue me downhill. So, but it is in Vegas, so I'd imagine it's pretty hot out there.
Right. How about this one, Shane, from the Anchor Man? Anchor down, he says. Is Cousin Shane coming to the Vandy-Tennessee game at the end of the season? If not, why not?
Well, it depends. I mean, if that is for the SEC championship spot, I may get up there.
These teams got to live up to the hype. You know what?
We talked about it. I think the game that we're kind of looking at or circling is maybe Vanderbilt, Texas. Mm-hmm. Tennessee, I'm going to do plenty of those. We're going to be there this weekend for the Bama, and then we're going to be there for Kentucky game. So bring your bourbon bottles down to Knoxville when you come to watch that one. We can just exchange it in the parking lot.
Jet Jones, if Texas beats Georgia by 10 or more, and the game's never really close, will people keep saying that Texas ain't played nobody? And I think they will, Shay, because that idiots that say you ain't played nobody in the SEC,
yeah,
they're just going to keep hating on you. You know what?
Yeah. They're not going to release this. You're undefeated right now and clear spot number one. And, well, what do we do at number ones, Mike? We just make fun of them. You make fun of what you don't have. And that's what Texas has right now is a good football team. They got everything in front of them. Yeah. And until Georgia, that's what they're going to keep saying. So that all changes Saturday, though, man.
Hey, how about that? So we got two more, Shane.
Yes.
This one, I really did. I tried to do research, but you would know better than I. So I'm just going to let you have this one. Deplorable Reb. And you don't have to do all the teams, clearly, but that's what I tried to do.
Yeah.
Every SEC team, but as Little Debbies. And I researched this. I was like, I thought I knew all the Little Debbies, but I couldn't get a comprehensive list. So maybe just any of your favorites, like your favorite Little Debbies. Who are they most? Which SEC team most resembles your favorite Debs?
Oh, shit, Mike. I mean, that's research. And I don't even know if I know 16. I'm sure I do.
That's what I'm saying. Like maybe if you're top three or something, who are they? Like the oatmeal cream pie.
Oatmeal cream pie. I always think of Bama because of Saban.
How about the fudge round, the chocolate ones?
Well, those are trash. So give me Mississippi State right now.
No. How about the Christmas trees? I saw you tweet about that earlier.
Yeah, those come once a year. So let's try to think once a year. Who gets our hopes up once a year and then they fail us? Let's say Tennessee Vols.
I say A&M.
Oh, yeah. There's once a year you convince me they're a playoff team. So let's give them Christmas trees.
How about the zebra cakes?
Zebra cakes, they don't get enough respect, man. But they resemble refs, and Bama's already been picked. So who's having trouble with refs this year, Mike?
Kentucky?
Yeah, Kentucky. Let's go with Kentucky. That's a good one.
Okay. And don't they have like a Cinnabon type deal?
I'm trying to think. They had a Swiss. I act like I don't know them.
Swiss roll.
Swiss cake,
Swiss
roll.
Uh-huh.
Let's say rolls. Let's do Ole Miss because they fake a lot of rolls. They just kind of roll around on the ground with a fake injury. So
isn't there like a waiver crunchy one or something?
Yeah, Nutty Buddies. Nutty. Who's the nuttiest coach out there? I wouldn't say Elko, but he's got a little bit. We've already picked him. Who's nutty? Who would you say it's fun?
Napier's pretty nutty.
Yeah, he is pretty nutty. Kirby's pretty nutty. Yeah.
They're saying Mizzou's the nutty bar. Yeah, drink. Yeah, it's got to be, right?
Yeah, Nutty Buddy. Yeah, let's put drink up there.
Can you think? That's all I can think
Cosmic Brownies. That one's on there. I hate Cosmic Brownies. So those are Florida Gators because I just can't stand them. That seems like a good dessert for them. I'm trying to think. I was just in there. Little Debbie's.
Someone in the comments says Texas is the ding dongs.
I don't think those are Little Debbie's.
No, I don't think they are.
Yeah. That's all I've got for now, Mike. Again, we probably could do. They got the strawberry shortcake ones. Strawberry shortcakes. Those are pretty good. That's one you don't want to eat all the time, but it is like once a month or something like that. You're like, yeah, I could get behind that. So
maybe a Gamecocks where they'll sneak up and get you.
Oh yeah, that's
and
good.
They keep saying in the comments Star Crunch. I'm not familiar with that.
Star Crunch, yeah, that's like I think that's I'm not a fan of Star Crunch. It's like cow patty type deals, I believe. Kind of looks like Rice Krispies, maybe some caramels involved with that one. Definitely not a top 10. So I would pick a bad team right now. So we'll go Auburn.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
All right, last one, Shane. We always close this out with cousin Trey Tucker.
Yeah.
Always ask great questions. Food question, and then he's got a couple off the wall too. Which player made more of a difference, would have made more of a difference this year? Quinshon Judkins, if he was still at Ole Miss, or Cody Schrader, if he was still at Missouri? Who would have made a bigger difference this year for their team?
I mean, my knee-jerk reaction is to say Schrader, just because.
Really?
Well, that's, again, knee-jerk reaction, but I feel like they're fine at running back.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go with Judkins and just what, the attention he brought when he was in the backfield there. So
and he was just so elite, Shane.
Yeah.
They are failing. This is why Ole Miss got 2 losses, Shane. They're short yardage, red zone possessions, short. I guess Kentucky was short yard. They were 1 of 10 on third down.
Yeah.
And really they were 0 for 10. The ref's bad spot. And then here against LSU, they couldn't convert in the red zone. Had they had Judkins, I think they would have cashed in at least one of them. I think Ole Miss desperately misses Judkins.
Well, and my only argument is Schrader. If you remember watching the games, especially the sideline, the kids loved him. You know what I'm saying? They looked up to him. This is a guy that was disrespected his whole career, and look what he did and what he created there. So he was kind of Mizzou football out of nowhere. Didn't have the respect, forced it by just being successful. So I wouldn't. I think Mizzou's missing a little bit of that. So I think I'm going to switch it back. Just leadership role. Give me Schrader. I feel like
You've covered all your bases here.
Yeah. I think about it. Honestly, I feel like from the athletic side, they're both are going to obviously help the football team, but I just think leadership. Give me Schrader there.
All right, and hey, I swear I didn't say this because of the question, but he's got a follow up. If Tennessee beat Vandy to make the playoff, so just what we were just talking about. I mean, this could be the game of the year in the sport here, the battle for Tennessee. Who's the last man standing after a night of drinking? Mike, Shane, Flying Hawaiian, or Mike's dad after those Oklahoma tailgate pictures emerge? Who's the last man standing at the bar?
Well, I think right now it would just be me. I think I think peak Flying Hawaiian would have been dangerous. He'd been really good, but he's been off of that. He's on
his wings have been clipped.
Yeah, so I feel like just because of body mass and just pure will and good looks, I think it would be me.
I would agree with that. And then last one question for you, Shane, from Trey Tucker. Cousin Shane's top 3 Halloween candies.
Nice. Well, it's funny. Growing up, we were living in a poor area, so trick or treating was hit or miss. and a lot of it was Miss peanut butter. Do you remember those wrappers that had the orange and the brown?
Yeah.
And they're both the same thing. It's like some brown sticky stuff in the middle, That's what you got at a lot of these places. We were watching for apples because they had razor blades. That was a big thing growing up to not eat apples. But every now and then you stumbled across some good chocolate. And for me, it was always the Kit Kats, it was always the Snickers, and it was always the Twix. If I could get those three, not that order. I think Gold Mine, I went to this one lady's house, didn't expect it. Full-size candy bar, Snickers.
Wow.
To this day.
How many times you hit that house up?
3 times. So what we did is we came back. I put my brother's mask on. He put, we'd hit that one, and then we just went there without mask. So the third Snickers, she figured out was up.
Yeah. Well, if you guys were just switching each other's, I don't understand it. I mean, she would still see the same mask.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of kids in the neighborhood,
Okay.
So yeah, we kept her busy,
And then do you have one that you hated?
Oh, yeah. Well, those that I just told you. Now, my wife, she loves candy corn, and I hate candy corn. You remember oh, gosh, there's so many bad ones, like those peach slices things, it's got sugar on the outside. It's gummies. I've just never been a fan of that.
Right. Is that you're talking about the Peeps?
Oh, Peeps. Oh, God. Peeps should be illegal. They should not be able to sell
I know
those.
that's not quite a Halloween candy, but that is
terrible.
the most disturbing candy I've ever tried.
Well, it's funny because my wife, so she's figured out candies I don't like. Now, she's said it's her favorite, but I think the more I think about it, she's gotten candies she knows I won't eat. And so it's candy corn and it's mini marshmallows. I don't like any of that. I don't. Marshmallows, I'm not a marshmallow guy. I just never been a fan of that. Even though I look like one. We don't eat our own around here, Mike.
Well, all right, buddy. So that's all the questions we got. We appreciate each and every one of you for sending them our way. You got anything else before we hop off the line?
No, yeah, just a reminder, we're going to be at Calhoun's Friday, so come down there and have a cold beer with us, eat some ribs. I don't know if we'll eat ribs or not, but then if you can't make that, maybe after work, come up there to Aries Hall and see the SEC. It's not just us. I mean, obviously Mike's going to be up there with Paul Feinbaum, but it's pretty cool seeing the whole setup and everything they got going on up there. So yeah, I look forward to seeing everybody Friday.
Absolutely. Well, buddy, I appreciate you. Appreciate each and every one of you. We'll catch you tomorrow for a picture. I think it's going to be a little bit earlier, right? Should we say that too?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Good call, Mike. Daughter's got a softball game, so we are going to go early tomorrow. It will be the last show that has a altered time until probably next week. But I'm just kidding. Hey, and also Saturday, Mike. Saturday. Nothing official, but keep your notifications on with YouTube, all right? If you've not subscribed, please do that. If you haven't clicked the like button, I know it's stupid. It's so dumb to pull the comments down and hit that little like button. For some reason, it really helps us out. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome. But turn the notifications on because Saturday, we're going to surprise you. We're going to be getting on at some point, probably midday. Me and Mike have discussed this either before I don't even know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but hell, it's coming up, Mike. We probably should talk about it.
Yep.
3 o'clock is what we're looking at, maybe before the 3:30 kickoff, kind of at the end of those noon games. So, yeah. Keep an eye on that, and we're going to kind of recap and then, talk about what we're expecting to see at the primetime games.
Yes, sir. So a lot to be on the lookout. We appreciate staying locked in on the channel. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, see you guys. Go Vols. Hit that like button.